Megumei here. Today we are at Summit Point Raceway on the school course.
That was 126.9. Sector 3 is a tenth off your best.
Welcome to episode 1 of what happens when you put a sim racer into a real-life race car. We are in the car that I started out in back in December of 2021, the Formula B. So for years and years, I've always wanted to be a race car driver. And unfortunately for me, I never had the finances, nor was I in the right place to make that happen. So sim racing was my only option. But lucky for me, in 2023, I was doing the Ray Sports Racing League, and Grass Paddock Motorsports happens to be sponsoring the T4 Jetta class. And part of their sponsorship included a race weekend drive for a licensed SCCA driver and one for a non-licensed SCCA driver to get their SCCA novice permit. Well, after a solid year of good results, I happened to win the non-licensed driver award. So I was given the opportunity to go and drive a real-life race car. I just had to make that part happen.
That lap was a 126.7. Sector 3 is a tenth off your best.
So Waterford Hills was the track that was selected for my driving school. This happens to be Sonoma because Waterford Hills is not in iRacing. But if you've ever wondered what happens when you put a sim racer that's never driven a real-life race car into a real-life race car, well, this happens. For some folks, it may be hard to believe, but they might actually do well, which was my case. And now I'm even more enthralled with auto racing than I've ever been, and I want more. So let's go on a little journey and experience my driving school from April of 2024. Brought to you by Grass Paddock Motorsports. We unfortunately did not record the first session because we forgot to hit the record button. Derp. So I lost an amazing save that I did through Big Bend on a full wet track. That's very unfortunate. But this is session 2. We're on a partially drying track. And as you'll see in a little bit, Fox Body Mustang will have a crash on the backstretch. They broke while having half of their car on the dry lane and half on the wet, so it spun them right into the wall. Luckily, they were able to complete the weekend, and they weren't hurt during the crash, so that was fantastic. I cut out the pace laps during caution flag period when they cleaned up the debris on track. And as you see, I'm waving to the flag marshals to let them know that I see them. Big Bend. It was a very fun corner. You can see a few big puddles there off the racing line. So while the track was partially dry, there are still lots of wet spots. We're still on wet tires, and we do not have the rear sway bar hooked up. Now it's time to have fun. For this driver school, we were told to stay in 3rd and 4th gears because the shift from 2nd to 3rd, which ideally you'd be in 2nd gear through here, so that bog, the bog. The risk of going from 2nd to 3rd and money shifting into 1st was too great, so it was better to play it safe all week, which was the smart thing to do.
want to spend $5,000 on having to replace a motor if I don't have to. Another thing we learned about the car is that, oh, here's the poor Fox Body Mustang. He'd done such a good job fixing the car up just for this event. Messed that front end up a little. It really sucked. But I'm glad, once again, that he was A-okay. So, yeah. So one thing we learned about the car was that the Vanos motor for the variable valve timing was broken. So not only was I bogging down in third gear, going through turn 3 and uphill, I didn't have my lower end torque. So, oof, that was a little bit frustrating. So I could have been faster all weekend. He lets me by, which was good. That is one thing we did a really good job with all weekend long, was everybody was very respectful. When someone knew they were going to get past, they pointed you by, didn't fight, or do crazy things, which is really good. That's what you want. Ooh, that log. I love uphill. It's such a fun corner. Know that there's debris. That part of the video out, so you're just not watching me put around the track to catch up to the next group of people.
Alright, we're back. Now, one of the things that we were doing in the early sessions was you had to be waved by to pass somebody. And we slowly lifted that restriction as the sessions went on, but right now it's wave bys only.
the end of the session. Still fun. As you can see, the track was drying out really good. We're still on the wet weather tires, so there was that. But always one thing to remember is when you're done with sessions, wave to the quarter marshals and all the event staff that you can. Most of the time, these folks are volunteering for this, so they're out there on their own time, and in many cases, they're out there in the not so great weather, having to tough it out, just so we can be out on track. So always be super thankful that they're out there doing this for you. Because if they weren't there, we wouldn't be able to get on track, because it'd just be unsafe if, you know, we had accidents and we're in need of assistance. So always, always, always make sure to wave. Alright, that'll do it for this video. We're going to go to Day 1, Session 3 in our next video. Now, if you're looking for a driver's school, you know, definitely look into Waterford Hills. I can't state it enough how amazing it was. The amount of track time we got was impressive. The overall school structure was amazing. All the driving instructors that we had that were giving tips and pointers, yep, it was fantastic. You can't go wrong if you come out to Waterford Hills for your driver's school. Here's the Grass Paddock Motorsports team. This is Trenton Kramer in his very own car, where he got his first win at, ironically, Waterford Hills. He's a great mechanic. He works extremely hard, and if you're using him to take care of your vehicle, or you just happen to be at the track with him with Grass Paddock Motorsports, you're in good hands. Now this guy right here in the middle of the photo, that's Frank Swartz. He's the owner and operator of Grass Paddock Motorsports. And like I said earlier before, big thank you to Frank for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it, because without that little nudge, I would have never done this and got out in a real car. So I appreciate that little nudge a lot. So if you're in the market to hop into racing, a fantastic way to do that is to rent a ride. And Frank rents out rides all across the nation in B-Spec Mini Coopers. You can head over to his website at www.grasspaddock.com. Here's his cute little doggos, little corgis. It took me almost 2 months to edit all of this. My computer was having a rough time, but I still can't believe it. I finally got to drive a race car in real life. See you in the next episode of what happens when you put a sim racer that's never driven a race car into a real race car before. So, if you've enjoyed the video, give it a like, and if you like my content, feel free to subscribe. This is Megumei. Thanks for watching.